Because I'm pulling out 6 or 8 or 10 snails every day that are fine. I don't know where they come from.
Yeah, well,
Never had to be one.
yeah.
You
So
need more
this,
birds hunting in your garden.
No,
I've
I
got
don't
a
find
million
it. I just
birds.
look at everything once a day.
I've got
Yeah.
snails with
If there's something I see it,
escargots
you can
on
look
it.
at all.
Maybe you need to put them in a cheap plastic bin with some cornmeal and start having French parties.
Maybe I do.
so this, as most fertilizers, are designed for nincompoops who can't read a label and figure out what 10 pounds per acre comes out to in a pot.
Right.
So it's the best suggestion I can always give you is imagine if you're sprinkling on your ground or in the pot that you want one sprig per penny space.
Okay.
What does that mean, Tom?
So imagine if that was covered with pennies.
And then
You want to have one little sprig
annual.
per penny.
Yeah. Yeah.
So using a big pot like that, small pot like that.
Yeah. So what happens if you use too much?
This is relatively slow release, so it's kind of, you can't screw up too much. If you use
Say
the,
we use a scotch or a, what did our mother
Yeah.
say, scotch?
But I only use that for
so now I put in perlite and some more soil and peat moss.
Yeah, if your soil composition is good, you don't never use it. Yes.
and I only use it
I have never used
water flowers.
Yeah.
But the only thing I consistently fertilize is
They also have
my orchids, but that's in very, very little.
Orchids and caladiums, you do need an orchid mix because their roots are pretty much aerial. They're not supposed to be sitting in soil. So the mix you buy, even though you can make it yourself, you can make a mix like this and then add like 50% of the bark,
Yeah.
Okay.
whether you buy it or find it.
Or we just don't grow those because that's.
Or if you mix in some of that red lava rock,
Yeah.
Okay.
that works okay. For caladiums, a little bit easy, not caladiums, anthuriums,
Anthuriums.
anthuriums like that.
Oh, okay.
And orchids, if you get the cymbidiums, they are they're easy to grow
Yeah.
Relative.
compared to the others. All the others are more difficult.
Yeah.
Relative.
Start to finish.
I got great plants and flowers. Okay.
Now you know,
I think my feet hit the ground.
and I don't want it that low.
This is actually kind of a lot of fun. This is kind of the messy stuff of it.
The only thing is her compost is heavy, so you need help with that.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Especially if it rains and you go and buy it.
Yeah.
The other thing is,
Now I'm cheating, I told you don't use your shoes.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
We didn't choose. Oops. I bought a bunch of soil and I don't have a house to put it in, so it's out in the sun, and the bags have totally disintegrated in the sun.
Yeah, these bags are only good for a couple months.
Ah,
And then you got a mess.
I
You could
didn't
go
read
straight.
that
You
memo.
could have covered it with a big piece of plastic.
Yes, right.
But you can take that shredded bag and just throw it in the bottom of the pot.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
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 Or you buy a bunch of bins and then
Yeah.
No harm, no foul.
Right.
Aged is better.
Big pot.
This reminds me
Big
of,
pot.
you know, the day we were at your house and I got the 2 bags of compost.
Her husband is the guy
All
further
over the
down,
car.
a couple of kilometers, that has all the big trees on the left for sale.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And that's where they put together their compost. They take all the dead stuff and mound it up. And they're pretty knowledgeable.
No, that's
They do a pretty good job.
How is the compost from Chapala Tree Service?
I never bought that.
Okay.
Huh? I'm thinking it's probably, it takes months to make it. Compost is not easy.
Yeah, no, no,
You
no.
gotta turn it,
Exactly.
aerate it.
Yeah, I
And it's
understand.
just sitting there and rotting. It's not a good thing.
Okay,
So unless they're doing it right.
sure. Like anything.
Yeah.
And a little more peat.
It's an art school. We're watching an artist.
Oh, you were
at work.
asking about which soil to use for which plants, whether they're succulents or whatever. As long as you have good drainage, this is fine for almost anything. Succulents or regular plants. If you're trying to do actual cactus, then you want lousy,
Something sandier.
something sandy, rocky, the worse the better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can take something like this, and when you see somebody doing construction, take your bucket and ask them for a bucket of the sand.
Yep.
Yours they took away this morning.
Machete is just as good.
So is that
Can I feel it?
Certainly, that's how you do it. Everybody wants to,
It's,
Okay.
it's really descriptive.
and you can tell
You
if it's
know
good
what it
if
is.
you wet it.
It's the
Let's say
best
you wet it
word.
down today so you can use it tomorrow.
Okay,
And tomorrow, it'll be damp, but will have the same consistency. It's not
okay,
caked up.
okay, that's cool.
Then you know
Now I
you
know how
hit
it
the nail on the
looks.
head.
Boy, have I been doing this wrong.
Now the trick is, a lot of stuff you buy that you'll see it growing somewhere, you think that's beautiful, and you go to buy it, it looks like hell. Because some stuff just doesn't want to grow in a bag. But that's how they sell it. So sometimes you just have to see something, find the name of it, go behind Super Lake, because she knows the names, and you say, that's what I want. She gives it to you and you think, huh? You guys have to bite the bullet and do it,
Okay,
especially the vines.
okay,
And so your planter might not necessarily look great the day you plant it.
Sure.
So you have to sort of know in your mind what it's going to look like in a month or two. And if it gets all seasonal stuff, be happy with that. If it's long term, then you can't plant it quite as thick, because people tell me I like it looking good.
for herd cats? I'm trying to herd cats.
So, a couple things.
I'll see.
Yes,
Sometimes they tell you to
everybody
tear the roots apart.
Yeah.
I'm not a definite believer in that. If it's something tropical, for the roots to be like that is okay, because they will be that way anyway. So pull them apart a little bit, but if you pull them apart too much, especially on stuff that's blooming, the plant's going to be all wilted for a week. So just break them up a little. And this one's pretty much, that's almost perfect.
Yeah.
That's where you want it. This is one of the Dracaenas.
what is that?
It's one of the Dracaenas.
The green plant.
This was behind the one across from behind the Sunrise,
Okay,
and I think it was $4.
gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Do we know what it is?
It's one of the Dracaenas, which are nice, because that's all the ones you always see normally, like the spiky things.
Yeah.
Yes.
All get spider mites.
Yeah.
But they're very durable. They actually like it on the drier side, and they do tolerate full sun.
That's very pretty though, that variegated. That's
Yeah.
very
Yes.
pretty.
I don't like the other, I don't like the other tracks at all.
What?
Tracks, Dracaena.
Oh, now, I love that.
Here's another one. This is perfect. Okay.
It doesn't look top down.
It's
Do
not
we know
pop
what
down.
that is too?
Obedient plant.
Another green with little purple.
This one's silver green, the silver green plant, with little purple flowers.
That's
This is actually it likes the hot sun.
Yeah.
It's very durable.
okay.
So with the Dracaena, that's fine. It's a good mix.
I planted one of those in different colors. Silver. Oh, that's beautiful. I do love that.
And right around the plant, I pack it pretty hard. Now it's best to, I didn't do it, but it's best to wet your soil the day before, or a couple hours before, and then come back and plant. And it's best to soak the hell out of your plants before you
I
plant them.
soak the
Yes.
plant.
Because once your plant's dry, and you put it in there, you say, I'll water it later, you put water on it, and all the water is absorbed like a sponge by the other soil.
Right. I've always, that I've done, never soaked the soil.
And when you first plant, realize the roots are only right below the plant. So when you water the first week or two, just water directly at each plant.
Okay.
Don't water the whole damn pot because it'll be soggy mess.
Yeah.
Oh, so what do you call that?
So Steve, Lynn just asked about spider mites. How do you get rid of them? You got them everywhere.
Constantly spray with malathion, like all the time, just try to stay ahead of them.
Like once a week, once every day?
Once every 10 days.
Okay.
You can't use just dish soap and water?
You can, but if any of that stuff, it kills them by suffocating them.
Right.
So you literally have to cover the whole plant.
Right.
And then if it rains, then you're back to immediately you're back to day one.
Yeah. I don't.
Malathion's not a baddie one either.
Are those the sticky flowers?
I use the dish
Stick-
straw
this one?
and water.
This one they call Mona Lisa,
Well, it depends how bad it is.
and I like it because it's a very pretty, delicate flower, nice leaves. After it blooms, you cut it back to about 2/3, and a month later you have a huge cascade of flowers again. And it breaks easy, but it's durable. It's actually not as fussy as it looks.
Steve, when do you cut these back? 'Cause I've got a few of those in pots.
It's a salad bar.
2/3 to half.
Okay.
When?
But when?
Whenever after the blooms are done,
When the blooms are
and they get too straggly.
Okay.
So you can cut that way back. Okay. So I've got one of those that's not. Very simple. I love it.
And I'm planting